Recording in progress.
This working? Good. Colleagues, if you could take your seats, please. Councilor Downs, welcome back. Would you do the pledge tonight, please? Would you do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? Thank you. All right, ready? All right, colleagues, if you could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please, Councilor Downs.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, colleagues. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Newton City Council. We are joined tonight online by Councilors Greenberg, Humphrey, Lipoff, Mickley, and Wright. We are being both audio taped and videotaped, and congratulations are in order to Councilor Mickley, who's now had his fourth child. So congratulations to Councilor Mickley. I think he has an excused absence. Although
Thank you. Thank you very much.
online. And with that, we are going to start off with first call. I'm going to recognize Chair Kelly from the Land Use Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Land Use Committee met on September 9th. I'm just pulling this all up now. The report starts on your page 199. We took up item 190-25, which is a requested change from a non-conforming warehouse use to a multifamily dwelling at 44 Oak Street. That was approved 8-0. Next three items were held, but I would like to set some public hearings.
Go ahead,
If I may.
please, and assign the public hearings.
I would like to assign public hearings for items 265-25, 264-25, 263-25, 262-25, 261-25, and 260-25, all for September 30th, which are on pages 209 and 210 of the docket.
Thank you. Chair Kelly, you do have an auto dealer's license 241-25 at the bottom of page 199.
I saw
And then
that,
200, the top of 200 as well.
yeah, they were on, I think we already did we do those at the last meeting?
No.
Okay, on page 194, I wondered why they were on a totally different page. Item 241-25, which is a class 2 auto dealer license at Atlantic Car Connect, was passed unanimously, as was 242-25, class 2 auto dealer license at Prestige Auto Imports, both passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Kelly. Chair Baker for the Zoning and Planning Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee report is on page 200. The committee met on the 8th of September, and we have three items to report. 235-25, the reappointment of Elizabeth Sweet to the Zoning Board of Appeals. 236-25, appointment of Ruth Goldman to the Community Preservation Committee. And 237-25, reappointment of Martin Smargiassi to the Community Preservation Committee. All were voted 8-0, and I move the report.
Thank you, Chair Baker. Chair Krinsman for Programs and Services Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Programs and Services Committee met on September 3rd. Item 214-25.
Speak into the microphone a little bit more. Thank you.
Yep, I apologize. The Programs and Services Committee met on September 3rd. And the first item was item 214-25. That's the reappointment of Jane Brown to the Commission on Disability. Committee approved that by a vote of 5-0. Item 229-25, the reappointment of Sheila Butts to the Parks and Recreation Commission, was approved by a vote of 5-0. Item 231-25, the appointment of Elijah Lavin to the Human Rights Commission was approved by a vote of 6-0. Item 232-25, the appointment of Jesse King to the Commission on Disability was approved by a vote of 6-0. Item 233-25, the reappointment of Thomas Elkine to the Newton Commonwealth Foundation was approved by a vote of 5-0. Item 234-25, the appointment of Susan Lyon to the Urban Tree Commission was approved by a vote of 5-0 with one abstention. Item 259-25, a request to set early voting hours for the November 4th municipal election. Those will all be the week of October 25th to 29th, was approved by a vote of 6-0. Item 373-24, requesting a discussion with Parks, Recreation, and Culture about restroom facilities at City Fields was voted no action necessary by a vote of 5-0. Last item is on second call. With that, I would move the report.
Thank you. Next, I have Chair Grossman for the Public Safety and Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The report is on page 204. The committee met on September 3rd and took up item 228-25, requesting authorization to accept Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 71, which authorizes the installation and operation of cameras on school buses to enforce violations when a vehicle illegally passes a bus that is stopped to allow students to get on or off the bus. The committee approved that 6-0.
Thank you. Next, Chair Albright for Public Facilities, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The report starts on page 204. 193-25, Councilors Oliver, Lucas, Maliki, Wright, Midgley, Block, and Farrell, requesting a decision with the Department of Public Works about standard procedures for road work. That was voted no action necessary by the Public Facilities Committee with 8-0. 199-25, parens 2, is National Grid request to grant a location to install and maintain gas main in Colgate Road and Hager Street. And that was voted no action necessary, vote of 8-0. Next one's on second call. 221-25, Eversource Energy petition for a grant of location to install and maintain approximately 30 feet of conduit on Washington Street to Dunstan Street. Public Facilities approved 8-0. And 222-25, Eversource Energy petitioning for a grant of location to install and maintain an anchor guy on Cotton Street. And this was also approved 8-0, and that concludes the report.
Thank you, Chair Albright. Chair Gentile for Finance, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The report begins on page 206. First item is 253-25. Our Honor the Mayor requesting to accept and expend a grant of $23,400 from the Executive Office of Public Safety to cover the cost of expert case review and reporting of emergency medical dispatch calls. This was approved 6-0. 254-25. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to accept and expend a grant in the sum of $249,295 from the Mass DOT Shared Streets and Spaces Program to install 4 new stations, piloting winter operations and optimating locations by relocating underperforming stations to higher priority locations. Approved 6-0. 255-25, Her Honor the Mayor requesting the acceptance and expenditure of a grant in the sum of $378,505.60 from the Boston Metropolitan Organization's Federal Fiscal Year 2026 Community Connections Program to purchase bicycle racks, bicycle shelters, and the installation of several rapid flashing beacons. Approved 6-0. 257-25, Her Honor the Mayor requesting the acceptance of a grant of rectangular rapid flashing beacons from the Venerable Road User Assessment Program. This was approved by a vote of 6-0. And the final item is 258-25. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to enter into a contract for the Greater Boston bike share system for a term of 5 years and an option to renew for 2 additional 2-year terms. This was approved 7-0. And with that, I'll move the report.
Thank you, Counselor Gentile. Counselor Danberg for Real Property Reuse Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is no report, but I would like to announce that this coming Thursday, September 18th at 7 PM, there will be a meeting of the Real Property Reuse Committee. It will be virtual, and we will be discussing the Grove and Hancock properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Danberg. With that, will you call the roll, please? Holden.
Counselor Albright,
Aye.
Counselor Baker,
Aye.
Counselor Bixby,
Aye.
Counselor Block,
Aye.
Counselor Danberg,
Aye.
Counselor Downs,
Aye.
Counselor Farrell,
Aye.
Counselor Gentile, Counselor Getz,
Aye.
Counselor Greenberg,
Aye.
Counselor Grossman,
Aye.
Counselor Humphrey,
Aye.
Counselor Kalis,
Aye.
Counselor Kelly,
Aye, with the exception of item 56-25, for which I vote no.
Counselor Krinsman,
Aye.
Counselor Leary,
Aye.
Counselor Lipoff,
Aye.
Counselor Lobovitz,
Aye.
Counselor Lucas,
Aye.
Counselor Maliki,
Aye.
Counselor Mickley,
Aye.
Counselor Oliver,
Aye.
Counselor Wright,
Aye.
President Laredo.
Aye.
Items pass 24-0 with the exception of 56-25 that passes 23-1-0.
Was that 56-25?
That was held, wasn't
What number was that?
That was, that's what I thought she
Did you say 56-25, Counselor Kelly?
That's what it's listed as in my book.
That item was held, so it's not before us.
Fine. Yes.
So
Okay.
we have unanimity.
Yes,
Okay.
24-0.
All set. All right, colleagues, we have 2 items on second call. The first is from Programs and Services for the appointment of a new city clerk. And then the second item is a grant of location on Washington Street from Public Facilities, which was approved subject to second call. Counselor Krinsman, you want to present the report from Programs and Services, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. So item 192-25, this is public meeting with city clerk, clerk of the council candidates. So on September 11th, Programs and Services Committee met. We interviewed the 4 finalists for the position. There was a, what was the specific name of it? I apologize. The earlier committee that evaluated all the candidates.
We had a preliminary screening.
Preliminary
committee
screening,
that
yeah.
I chaired, and I was
Yep.
joined by Counselors Albright, Grossman, Kalis, and Bixby.
Thank you. I apologize. The name is Preliminary Screening Committee. And they did a fantastic job and got whittled the sort of field down to 4 finalists who came before the Programs and Services Committee. And so tonight, I can tell you that our recommendation for the appointment of city clerk and clerk of the council. So we have someone who is, I believe, truly qualified. I will say that any one of the 4 finalists would have been great. And I say that truly and genuinely because all 4 were fantastic candidates and we had a fun evening interviewing them. I would particularly like to acknowledge Cassidy Flynn, who is currently in the clerk's office, has been serving as the acting clerk, has provided exemplary service, and has her expertise, her professionalism, and her stewardship of the office has been integral to not only this body continuing to function, but the residents of Newton who rely on the clerk's office every day. So unfortunately, she was not selected for this appointment, but the value that she brings to the city does remain exceptional. Ultimately, after the interviews and robust discussion between committee members and several other counselors who were in attendance, the Programs and Services Committee unanimously recommended Mr. Andrew Willison, who goes by Drew, for appointment. Drew's extensive background in public service, including his tenure as the United States Senate Sergeant at Arms and as Chief of Staff to the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, brings proven strategic leadership, expertise in records management, and a deep commitment to open, effective government. Drew also brings strong academic credentials as well. The entire committee, I would say, was highly impressed with Drew's background and how he presented himself. His skills, I would say, combined with Cassidy's ongoing leadership within the department, creates a collaborative and resilient clerk's office ready to support both the City Council and Newton residents into the future. I am hopeful that after some discussion here in the full council, we are able to get a unanimous vote of support for Drew to be the next clerk. And I am confident that that would be a decision that we will all take great pride in having made. So the final vote, of the committee was 6-0.
Thank you, Chair Krinsman. Counselor Gentile, I believe you placed this on second call.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did place this item on second call, and I did so because I do not plan to vote in favor of the Programs and Services recommendation, and I wanted to explain why. I did attend the meeting last Thursday night. I sat through and listened to all 4 interviews. And I also listened to the discussion that took place among the committee members after the interviews. I guess I'll pick up on a couple of points. Council Oliver, during the discussion early on, raised the issue of hiring from within. And I believe, I don't want to speak for him, but like me, it sounded like he was generally a fan of trying to hire from within when openings like this come up. And for the benefit of people who may be watching tonight, but don't know all the players, there is a candidate for the position that is in the clerk's office and has been working in the clerk's office for over 7 years now. And as the chair just mentioned and spoke glowingly about, his name is Cassidy Flynn. She graduated from college 7 years ago. Her first job was in the city clerk's office, clerk of the council. And unlike many of the people who were there when she started, and several that have since come and gone, I don't have to tell anybody in this room about the tremendous amount of turnover in that office. She has stayed and she has continued to learn and to take the appropriate courses and basically to prep herself for this opening when it became available. At the meeting, she talked a little bit about her ties to Newton and how important they are. She spoke about her father, who has worked for the city for 37 years. But that is only a brief part of the story. She didn't mention her grandparents, the Flynns, who raised their family in the heart of Nonantum, Council Oliver, place you so staunchly defended over the Adams Street fiasco. They grew up over DNA Pizza right on Watertown Street in the heart of the lake. And in 1972, before Tommy Doyle's became Tommy Doyle's, there was a place called the 349 Lounge, which the Flynns bought and they renamed it the Place. And they ran it and operated it for 30 years. As far as their involvement in the community, they were the O'Haras before the O'Haras. They were extremely generous people who contributed to many charities, and the Newton Boys and Girls Club, the Newton Boys Club at that time, it was later renamed the Newton Boys and Girls Club, John M. Barry, actually, Boys and Girls Club. That was their primary charity. And every year for 30 years, they had a road race and they had a golf tournament. And 100% of those proceeds went to the Boys and Girls Club, which really needed it back in those days. Now, deep ties to the city and the fact that you are a
Counselor Gentile, you're over time. Would you like another couple of minutes?
3 minutes, please, and I'll be
You're all in
done.
favor for additional 3 minutes for Counselor Gentile, please say aye. Aye, go ahead, please.
So deep ties to the city and being in the office that we're trying to find a new leader of, that it's helpful, it should be helpful, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. So what I want to emphasize, because I didn't hear much of this the other night, but I appreciate the chair's comments about Cassidy this evening. I have worked with that young lady since she came here right out of college. And she has done nothing but grow. She was a tremendous asset to me when she was clerking the finance committee, and she's clerked public facilities, and she's clerked reuse. And I could tell right on that she had a lot of the important characteristics of doing her homework, returning phone calls, doing all what a lot of people might think are the little mundane items that are extremely important in that office to help us do our work. And she has done nothing but grow since then. So to me, she has been preparing for this petition. She's in her most recent position as the deputy clerk. She's been supervising 13 other people in those 2 offices. Please do me a favor, if you haven't yet, read her cover letter where she talks about her passion for public service, her desire to continue to serve the city of Newton with dedication and integrity, the fact that she is a second-year student at the New England Municipal Clerks Institute, along with other professional training that she's going through. And she is in the process of applying to become a certified municipal clerk. This position, I better talk faster. This position is open because our clerk, Carol Moore, left earlier this year. And quite honestly, Carol did a very good job. I was skeptical coming from Seattle, but I was very impressed with her as time went on. But she couldn't have left at a worse time. It was right before the budget, and that office downstairs gets swamped at budget time. All right, as finance chairman, believe me, I know that. Yet Cassidy, along with the other staff that she worked with, they jumped in, and a lot of those folks were new. Katie isn't exactly a 20-year veteran, nor was Lisa, but they jumped in and they did a fantastic job. And as the chair of finance, I can tell you that we did not miss a beat last finance season. So I believe that she has demonstrated the ability and she deserves the position. Passing over Cassidy is a mistake. She has worked under and been trained by 2 excellent clerks, David Olson and Carol Moore, and she is ready for the job. I'm uncomfortable with the recommendation of passing her over. And if there's anyone else that agrees with me, I would love to hear from you. And so for that to happen, I'm going to charter the item.
Thank, you're chartering the item? Item's chartered. That ends the discussion. We'll move on to the second item. Go ahead, Counselor Albright.
Okay. So this is item 200-25, which was National Grid petition for a grant of location to install and maintain a gas main in Washington Street as follows. It was essentially for the Dunstan East for the project that's going up on Washington Street in West Newton. This project was a 40B, and during the 40B process, they agreed to do the residential part of the project as as electricity, I'm sorry. But the commercial part was still supposed to be gas. So when they came to us for their grant of location, we decided that we would ask the project manager and the owner if they would be interested in recognizing that we're not doing anything that's new with electric anymore. This came in prior to that ordinance passing. We had a discussion, they looked into it, they spoke with Eversource, and they agreed that they would go all electric for the commercial part of the project as well. We brought it back into committee and we were going to vote, and we did vote. The vote was 6 in favor, 0 to allow a gas main to be put in for temporary use. They wanted a gas main for the construction season, and then they would cap it off and not use gas. It would be all electric. And Eversource had assured them they have enough electricity. The question was raised, I think, by Councilor Kelly, who said that as a member of that liaison committee, that there's a second construction season, and would they need the gas for that? Mr. Shea, who is their project manager, wrote back to us. He said, per our conversation, we will only be using the temporary gas line for one heating season, and we'll have it disconnected and capped after that. So I think that they have satisfied the questions that came up in committee. And I would move that we approve this temporary gas project.
Thank you, Chair Albright. I'll recognize Counselor Wright.
Yes, I'm part of that committee that we meet monthly, and that just came up in our last meeting. If they aren't allowed the gas, it will actually cost the project $400,000 more for the heating season. And then they would have to use diesel, and it smells, it's louder. The neighbors wouldn't like that either. And he did assure us that they would be able to get through their construction during the one winter season. And construction on building 3 is going to be, I think, in the summer or fall, in which the interior construction, where they would not need that heating source. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard on this item? Counselor Leary.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As you know, my policy is not to vote for any new methane gas hookups, but unless we have a citywide plan for gas. We haven't gotten that yet, but I was under these circumstances that it being only temporary and a requirement for the workers in the building to have heat, and that we had a date for them to switch back over and remove the gas. The only thing I would ask is, do we have any date or sort of month where they will remove it? Or I would like to be notified when that happens. So that's my only request. I'm not going to hold it up. I will vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, seeing none, let's call the roll, please.
Counselor Albright,
Aye.
Counselor Baker,
Aye.
Counselor Bixby,
Aye.
Counselor Block,
Aye.
Counselor Danberg,
Aye.
Counselor Downs,
Aye.
Counselor Farrell,
Aye.
Counselor Gentile, Counselor Getz,
Aye.
Counselor Greenberg,
Aye.
Counselor Grossman,
Aye.
Counselor Humphrey,
No.
Counselor Kalis,
Aye.
Counselor Kelly,
Aye.
Counselor Krinsman,
Aye.
Counselor Leary,
Aye.
Counselor Lipoff,
Aye.
Counselor Lobovitz,
Aye.
Counselor Lucas,
Aye.
Counselor Maliki,
Aye.
Counselor Mickley,
Aye.
Counselor Oliver,
Aye.
Counselor Wright,
Aye.
President Laredo,
Aye.
passes 23-1.
Thank you. We are now adjourned at 8:17 PM. Thank you all very much.